Hi, how's it going? I'm currently embroiled in a pile of sand. It's kind of a big deal. But a bigger deal is what we accomplished last time, and I'm going to directly address it now. Because, observe to our side over here, a new massive bronze construct has appeared and is doing wondrous things for us. The steam separator, capable of separation and other such wondrous things. Anyway, hi, how's it going? Full confession, I am not feeling that well today. You may be wondering why I am not feeling well today, and that is an excellent question because I am also wondering that myself. It's kind of awkward how that works, yeah? Conveniently, I don't really have any major plans or big projects that I'm going to have to struggle through today. This is mostly a transitory period. We've dumped so many resources into getting this machine operational that we now have... Okay, it maybe looks like we have a lot of resources, but look at the 16 copper. Unacceptable. We just burnt through like 10 stacks of the stuff. We can't, this is we're out. This is basically zero. We gotta get more. We gotta get more of a lot of things, but we gotta get more of those things. Also, hi Monty, how are you? Glad you could show up at the very beginning of the stream. That is your optimal time to show up, I assume. Or I believe. So, generally speaking, our mission today is to simply relax, not work too hard, and just sort of up our resource materials and other supplies. Excellent news, though. The mixer and the big macerator will make the processing a lot easier. So before that, let's work on some simple supplies that we demand. In particular, I want to see if we can't get like an extra hopper from, I guess, right here. Put that down here. And just dump 1 million rubber and sulfur into the alloy smelter, with the express purpose of trying to make as much rubber as possible. Yeah, you are correct. The landscape is definitely formed to my will to a particular extent. Lots new, and a lot of the important stuff is very large, so it takes up a lot of space and it makes it a bit stronger of an appearance, I say. It's pretty good. Okay, what else? What is my mind trying to tell me? The cactus coke. We have a stack of the stuff. We should be using it to make steel instead of the charcoal, but I accidentally started the charcoal anyway. So put the cactus coke in there. Put the cactus in here to make more cactus coke. All the excess cactus goes in this hopper. Getting back into the swing of it. Trying to stay functional. Right, we got netherrack. I wanted to alloy smelt that into bricks, yes. But also I can separate it into sulfur and coal and gold. We have options now. Hey, Kit, check it out. Steam separator real. If we had things to separate, I could be separating all the things. Actually, maybe there is some just like junk material we can put in there that we want to put in there. Ooh, yeah. Raw pyrite? What'll that give us? Impure pyrite into centrifuge will give us pyrite. And we can turn that into some good material. It's free sulfur just by centrifuging a little bit of it. That is desirable, I would say. What about the cassiterite? More tin. More tin. Can't complain about more tin. And tin is something we need. Tin cable is very much the economy. Centrifuging cobblestone? I don't know if you can centrifuge cobblestone. It's not really a loose material. I'd imagine you could centrifuge something like gravel. Yeah, it's more of a... Cobblestone's more of a macerator input type deal. Okay, so first off, let's put in the cassiterite sand, looking at the big, fancy recipe system. We will get from macerating it a lot of ground cassiterite, which we can then turn into impure piles, which we will then centrifuge into slightly more tin. Okay, well, down the chain of cobblestone in that case. There are two ways to go down the chain of cobblestone. You can macerate it into stone dust, which is sort of a dead end. Or you can forge hammer it into gravel. From gravel, then you can centrifuge it, macerate it further to make stone dust again with a little bit of flint. Forge hammer it again to make sand, so that's a sand source. But centrifuge? I actually don't see centrifuge on this list. Oh, it's because you sift it. You sift it to get gravel, okay. So in that case, forge hammer to sand. Sand you definitely should be able to centrifuge. I am standing thoroughly corrected. Yeah, okay, there's no... no sifting, no macerating. Cobblestone cannot be put into the mixer. Unfortunate. Something turned off. The sound of the bass changed. And it's because the alloy smelter doesn't have enough steam? Oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh dear. Oh goodness me. What has gone wrong? Oh. The creosote ovens got full and stopped running. And now the entire factory's been just turned off. Yeah, okay, this is a maintenance day. We've neglected our duties of maintaining the factory's operation, and we need to resolve that very quickly. Put some bronze in here. Nether brick's more of a brick material, and I guess the netherrack, netherrack, yes, can go in there. Look at us. What do we think we're doing? Neglecting our factory and all that it does. Now we're going to have to wait until the high pressure boilers get back online. The steam takes a while to sort of ramp up production. Very tragic. Yeah, I know the storage system is also pretty bad. Organization is not my strong suit. As we start getting an obscene bulk of materials, we are going to have to invest in better storage. Oh, that's another super spruce. I'm not done yet. Oop. There we go. Now we can... The paths of the base are also a little ruined right now. There we go. That's like 5 more. This will fill up like the 4.5, and we will have a little bit of an excess. Good. Charcoal's going good. Charcoal's going good. Get more creosote in there. Now that this is finished doing the charcoal recipe, we can take out the tiny pile of dark ashes so that the cactus coke can finally start cactus coking. This cactus is turning into cactus charcoal already. 37 steel in the bank. Okay. Steel is for many of the frames for electrical machines like these. It's also a pretty strong material. I would put it vaguely on the level of diamond. But most importantly, it's a major component of our first electrical machines. Steel casings to actually house the electronics, and we use steel to sort of handle the circuits and things. Macerator is complete. No, the macerator is not complete, of course. The macerator is, in fact, non-functioning. Shut down due to power loss several minutes ago. Steam supply is restoring. This looks like it did finally finish that recipe. Okay, the factory is back to being operational. Things are running again. We can turn this machine back on. There we go. That's a relief. I'm sorry, I'm struggling today. So we got steel. We don't have steel. We have... Steel doesn't go in here. Where is steel in here? Steel goes in here. Good. Take some of the bronze we needed for tool repair. Obsidian is on hand. Put the obsidian dust in here. We have 10 obsidian dust. Good to know. Let's repair our tools. We'll repair. Definitely repair the lumber axe. Good. Repair this shovel. Very good, very good. Go to bed. So in terms of materials that we have, but need, but don't have, but need, we've just reinvented the concept of tin. So this supply right here will give us basically all the tin we need for, yeah, at least a few more hours. And in that time, and this is where we start leading into the next step of the process. We can take the impure pile and put it in here for free tin. Getting to a point where it maybe isn't even enough to just process the ore, but automate it. Just for the particular ores where it's relevant, take it from one place, put it in another. Like I'm imagining macerator straight into forge, hammer straight into that. Straight into a box of some kind. Then we can take this while it hammers away. Go to our lovely mixer, put this in. Watch it fly. Very good. Gonna eat a pie. And I think I'll eat a sandwich. And I'll eat another sandwich. Just the 3 alone is starting to hit the limit of our nutrition variety. We're gonna need like a 4th and a 5th. Seems like the steam separator is perhaps taking a little bit too much steam to sustain itself. This is a bit of a concern. It's possible we can only use the mixer sparingly until we can get some more steam power generation. That's not too big of a problem, as long as we're not overloading the steam in one fell swoop. As long as the tin exists in some form, we have it in that some form. Okay, the high-pressure steam boiler is back to its full capacity, which means it's making steam at full capacity, which is good. All that's looking fine. Okay, tin's complete. This is making steel at a good pace. Let's make another coke oven. I believe the recipe for a coke oven, now that we're in the future, is naturally 4 of these for each brick. We need about 26, and these 2 make 2. So it's about a stack of sand and a stack of clay and an alloy smelter. That's pretty easy for us. That was a while back. Allow me to update you on the new situation. We now have a steam boiler that is fueled by creosote. So now the problem is actually inverted. We need to make sure that we are burning enough material that we can supply the boiler with the creosote we need. In this instance, these 2 is enough. But since those 2 coke ovens are dedicated to creosote production, we want those to be the last ones used, and all other coke ovens to have priority on their creosote being used first, such that we won't have a bottleneck elsewhere. Also, hi Capra! Here I am just sort of standing here getting an approximate stack of sand by leveling out the environment here. That's an approximate stack. We'll combine that with our approximate stack of clay, and we will get our coke oven brick for our fourth coke oven. The power that this 3rd/4th coke oven will give us is an attempt to help automate steel production a little better. Our cactus farm is designed to turn cactus into cactus charcoal, and then cactus charcoal into cactus coke, which then goes into this bricked blast furnace to make steel at an efficient, speedy rate. I want to use cactus coke because it is slightly faster than using charcoal, saving about 2 minutes per steel ingot. And in relative terms, about 33% of time. Or in absolute terms, it becomes 4 minutes instead of 6 minutes to craft 1 steel ingot. What am I doing over here? Remember your focus exception. I know that your mind is kind of losing it right now, but very losing it right now. But hold strong, stay focused, you can do this. Check out that cassiterite. You know, given the backlog and that we're not doing anything too steam consumptive, like 320 is pretty low. That used to go up to 540 for some crafts. Let's put in this. Let it run. 30 seconds at 1,000 liters per second would deplete this in basically 2 crafts. So I think the fundamental unit for separating cassiterite right now is 16. Because this will take 8, and it'll output whatever it outputs. And I think doing that is safe. It will never void out the material. I'm okay theoretically with the machine seizing up because they ran out of steam temporarily. But if the multi-blocks run out of steam temporarily, it's going to delete the ingredients involved. And that's scary. How's the Oh, right, of course they would go down here, of course. All right, so while that's running, how about we go get some more copper? We uncovered a very lovely copper vein off towards the south, which I think we should revisit and acquire the copper from within from. We've got the materials to do it. I didn't bring the tool forge, but our hammer is basically at full strength anyway, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. Nothing complicated about this particular venture. We're just going off to get some copper. We're going to need a lot of copper because copper wire is a major ingredient of the circuitry. Steel, also a major ingredient. But we have a good chunk of steel. We can barrel through that. Really, the limiting factor for steel is making the casings. So awkwardly, making a really high-tech machine that's just like one casing but a lot of circuits is better for the resource distribution we have right now. More interesting, the one material that I think we don't need a lot of, but struggle to replenish, is red alloy. Red alloy is going to be our big issue in the eventual future. For those who don't know, red alloy is a combination of, I believe, iron and redstone. And like a lot of redstone. The redstone part of that is really what the problem is. No, wait, I think it's copper and redstone, my mistake. But still, the redstone's the problem in that equation. Because redstone is fairly rare. We've only ever found one vein of redstone, and our base is right on top of it. In addition, our base is also right on top of a giant collection of monsters and a literal dungeon, which is both deadly and also cuts into the ground that the redstone would have been in. This all culminates in a grand inconvenience, namely that we truthfully do not have that much redstone to work with. This is part of the reason why I focused so much on getting the polarizer as one of our first big tier 1 technology machines. Because with that, we're going to save on redstone in magnetizing iron rods, which is a major component of motors, which is going to be a major component of basically everything now. It all feeds together in ways you cannot comprehend. Actually, you can very much comprehend them. In fact, I literally just gave you a description of comprehending them, and you comprehended that description. If you did not comprehend my explanation, please speak up now so that I can verify whether or not you can indeed comprehend these things. Please give this explanation a Yelp review. Alright, that's a little inconvenient for my ability to give an exposition, which is unfortunate because expositing is one of my favorite things to do, casually. It also helps me organize my thoughts, so I will continue to exposit, even if you cannot comprehend it. It'll just have to be for my own sake, then. The real limiting factor of this journey into the unknown is going to have to be the fact that I forgot to bring any torches. Maybe I could have artificially created my own torches. Unfortunately, I did not think ahead. and dumped all of my logs into the creosote factory. Speaking of factories, I'm still thinking about the sandwich factory, and the very unfortunate fact that the thing stopping us from making that factory is gonna be the ability to cut bread automatically. Because apparently an automated bread slicer requires stainless steel, and I don't know if you know this, but stainless steel is a high voltage technology. We can't manufacture stainless steel in bulk / at all until a lot further along, despite the fact that low voltage tech is pretty sufficient for basically everything else we need for the sandwich factory. It's really unfortunate. Alright, taking stock of what we have, it's definitely nowhere near as much as I was hoping for. But it'll have to do. I can't dig further out because of the natural tendency for the darkness to spawn hostiles, and the hostiles to be very lethal. As described by that very conveniently timed growl. Though I'm pretty sure that's just a regular wolf upstairs. Because we are kind of in the basement of nature. Basement's nature, also known as a cave. Sorry, nature's basement. I don't know what basement's nature is. Like mold? Maybe a little mildew? I don't know. Well, I figure this is the best I can do. And it's not bad. Stack and a half of raw chalcopyrite, that's going to equate to about 3 stacks of copper. If we're not dumping every single bit of copper we own into the construction of bronze for the bronze plate to make the multi-blocks, just for a second, then those stacks of copper should be enough to get us plenty of wire for what we need. Yep, there's that wolf I was talking about, just spinning. There it goes. You gonna spin? You spinning? You don't seem interested in spinning anymore. You had your fill. Chased your tail for a little bit, and now you're done. I'm curious about the yield of our slime orchard that we made. In particular about the sapling return. Will we break even? Will we be net positive, net negative? That will tell me, on average, whether this is a good or bad density to put these trees. If it's net positive, I'll keep it like that. If it's net negative, I'll space them out further so that there are more leaves per tree. Okay, we are back. And now that we are back, we can make the macerate. That'll be about 3 stacks. And then I think that's safe for a 4th stack. the extractor not hooked up to anything right now? Huh. I guess I never remembered to reset it. Move the forge hammer out that way and then move the extractor point that way. I could just put it right here. That would mean do this. Oh, I can change the output facing manually, like ignoring the front of the device. Oh, that's big technology. I can just do this. That's really convenient. Looks like it's going through the alloys quite well. Let's use the forge hammer on some crushed ores that we just so happen to have. In fact, the mixer, the separator, because it can parallelize recipes, we can just put in some of the junk dust that we have. In fact, we have a lot of junk dust of various random forms. We can start processing this stuff. Clean up our inventory, start sorting it out. I've been thinking of moving my main storage to the hollowed out river. It's like chests along the line, maybe a few barrels. Okay, maceration's going good. Got some more aciderite and tin. Put those in here. I think we're good on sulfur for a while. Okay, what? We got 4 here. Let's do 4 calcite then. 4 and 4. That should be a good combination. So, doo-doo. Ah. Okay. The parallelization is only in one particular craft. It's based on the type of craft. So you can't parallelize across different crafting recipes, just the one. So my genius junk dust strategy will not work. Unfortunately. Granted, I can always still just do it. Androdite. What the heck is that? Calcium, iron, silicon, oxygen. What do I do with it? I can centrifuge it for quicklime, iron, alumina, rutile, vanadium, gold. Only if I include nitric acid as an input, though. Electrolyze it for calcium, iron, and raw silicon. And a whole lot of oxygen. Very interesting. It seems like a general slurry of later game materials that I can't put to good use now, but will probably care about in the future. I was looking over the cactus situation, and I'm thinking very positive, optimistic thoughts about what I'm seeing there. The cactus was being processed into one stack of cactus charcoal, technically. But if we actually had the second coke oven, it would go to cactus coke in basically the same time, because the speed for cactus to charcoal is the same as charcoal to coke. Which means that, theoretically, if that full line ran, it would go at about the same pace that charcoal is being consumed here, because that became a stack before this stack became empty. We have steel paste cactus, and I could make it better to just make this taller. More important for the immediate moment, though, is let's get those brick ready. 80 liters per second, how quaint. Maceration is complete. Let's put this into the forge hammer. Some crushed chalcopyrite. The crushed chalcopyrite will give us, by multi-block centrifuging, sorry, regular centrifuging, but it's a multi-block. But it's a multi-block regular centrifuger. Chalcopyrite with a little chance of pyrite, so a slight chance for free iron. Not too bad. Okay, the lapis ran through and it gave us a free lazurite. That's sort of the power of the dust. You just get a little extra for free. Sometimes you can manipulate the system to get a rare material that you only need like one of. Like, I would love to manipulate the system in order to get a free lead or something. This one goes faster. I see. It's possible that the particular materials involved dictates how long it takes to craft. So chalcopyrite can be mixed out a little faster than cassiterite. That's important to know, I think. Oh, right, we're having a general purpose inventory. Maybe I should start making those dang barrels. I've got a dolly. I can move chests around now. It's within my power. Maybe I gotta start being responsible. But I don't want to. Only 9? Yeah, I do think we're reaching beyond our steam production. I wasn't expecting this to be the problem, but it most certainly is becoming the problem. New question. How do I pipe? I think the simple answer would be just put a hopper on the bottom, output it sideways into a second coke oven that's like 1 block lower. For that, I reckon we're gonna need another hopper. We're low on hoppers, which is my fault. Fortunately, hoppers are not that hard to make anymore. They used to be a major material draw, but now it's just iron plate, iron gear. The iron gear is actually the hardest part. That's like 8 ingots, and it's a big burden on our alloy smelter. One could argue that instead we should just make it out of the manual recipe, which is 4 plate and 4 stick. And I might. That said, for how much iron we use, which is very little, we have a decent supply to do whatever we need. So I will make the gear the old-fashioned way, but we need the plates anyway. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then we need 2, 4, 6, 8. If you're confused about the numbers I'm using, it's because I want to make 2 hoppers. The math just works easier like that. The rest of the steel can go in there. The tiny pile of ashes can go out here. How's this going? We are at 16. That's enough to just start forwarding it over. Looks like I thought ahead. Well, we're going to need 8 steel for the... Sorry, 8 iron. For the spokes of this gear. It's a matter of walking through our house, going back to the iron, getting 8 of it. Makes me think we should invest in a lathe, if we're going to be making so many sticks. Or rods, rather. And if I recall, it's a wrench in the riddle? Yeah. And there goes the wrench. Next up, we need to make preferably 2 chests, so I'm going to preferably need a little bit more wood. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fill in the interior. Do that. Check. Hopper is this. Combination of hammer and file. Let us put the gears in. Let us put the chest in. Let us put the plate in. 2 hopper. First hopper will go this way. Built in this. I imagine the compressor is just about done with its supply currently. Yes, it is. Let's move over the results of the smelting to the compressor to make a few more. I'm worried that this will be illegal because it's too close to this one. We'll see how that goes. Oh, no! My fears were realized. It already considers this illegal. They can't share a wall. Which means the second hopper needs to go here. Glad we discovered that quickly. How you looking, buddy? Buddy? Are you okay? Speak to me. It's safe. It's safe. It lived. It lived. It's safe. We're good. Yep. Now they're hopping out of here, going in the cactus. Coke. Right, we shouldn't be using this to make cactus coke anymore. That's purely the cactus charcoal maker. This is the cactus coke maker once the compressor's done compressing the compress. How compressed are you? Two, three, four, five, six. I need 8. So there better be 20 in here. Oh. Oh, no, wait, I have another 40 in here. I didn't even notice. Excellent, we're fine. We have a minute. Let's do a little more processing. Got a good chunk of raw pyrite ore we could turn into crushed pyrite. Iron is not something we're really aiming for right now, but I would not consider it a harm to get. Five more. You have a good day, too. I'm gonna try and take it easy. You should also take it easy. Alright, that's the one that had all the rubber in it. Oops. That explains why I didn't break it in the past. Okay, rubber supply is pretty good. We got a few rubber bars. Not many. It's enough to make like one conveyor belt, which we may want to make for the purposes of item transportation. If I'm being honest with myself, this isn't the way to go about it. What I should really do is get some item pipe, which we conveniently already have a bit of, and use that to bridge the gap. Item logistics is currently very slow because we have to use a hopper to engage the transportation, but at the very least, we only need the hopper to engage the transportation. We do not need it to perpetuate it, which means one hopper into item pipe that we've acquired elsewhere is enough to make this system function. Stop the crafting. Is there any other use for coke oven brick? Advanced coke oven brick. We are going to want advanced coke oven for when I convert to benzene. Other than that, we can turn it into coke oven brick dust, which can then be centrifuged out to get a little bit of our material back. Clay dust? Hold on. Hold on. One coke oven brick is made with clay and sand. But you macerate one and you get coke oven brick. So you get 4 of it, macerate it down, and you get clay dust. But clay dust is equivalent to 4 clay. Which means for 4 clay, you're getting 8 clay? And then if you combine it with sand, you can make... No. Because clay dust doesn't become clay, but... Right, you compress it, it becomes clay plate. Oh, wait, no. You can make a small pile of clay dust. For 3? Be a mix, okay, 2. Like, okay, so maybe it's not 4, it's 2 to 1? In that case, it would... In that case, it would still be 4. I thought I got like an infinite clay glitch, where I just use sand as a catalyst to make infinite clay. But I think they thought of that and made the conversion of clay dust to clay a little harsher. Alright, so congratulations, we now have our cactus coke maker. How do we make this profitable for us? The answer is we do some crazy automation. Take one of our hoppers, item pipe, hopper into the item pipe. You may see where this is going. It's going to rain down on my head. Goes to the item pipe. This then proceeds this way. I don't think I went far enough. How am I lost? This is not even a distance. I'm also stuck? I went not far enough and then too far. Okay. Let's just put it here, okay? Quick, simple, easy. Fill up the tunnels of my own hubris and simply go left. The angle is the best we can do. 8, 7... 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good thing that's enough. Good thing these things are smart enough to understand my intention. Oh. It won't. Is that because the only valid input is this block? We can fix this. We can fix this. In fact, we can move the entire construction. If this needs to be the block we use that block. It's as simple as that. Correct tool for moving this is the wrench, unfortunately. Okay. Fine. Fine, fine, fine. Wait, this doesn't make sense. How would you input the... If you were automating this, how would you automate inputting both the fuel and the material? One to the left. And one up from where it needs to be. So take out this entire column. And one layer off the roof. We will also need to remove most of this column because it is now the new vertical chamber. This goes down by 1. This square gets filled in. And it should just be a matter of fill this up to 210. Now does this work? Yes. I put the iron back in. We connect this. This folds going into the... It's working. Oh man, it's working. If it's working, it means we can seal this up. For the most part. Don't need access to that. Don't need access to that. This is just piping. I'll leave a little staircase to access the hopper, simply because that's for bug fixing. And then finally, this hopper, and this is just going to be for testing, should pick up the finished material. I hope. Naturally, there's no finished material to test with, but there will be. The one big inconvenience this causes is that I gotta walk over here to put iron in. But, like, the system is working. The farm is farming. If this hopper works, this is great, great triumph. I gotta wait like 2 minutes before I know if it works or not. Fine, I'll do something else. Well, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna eat. Not my intended answer, but true nonetheless. I need to eat some snack in bulk. Got 40 tomato slices. Let's see some of those. Okay. That should have helped. It'll tide me over for a bit. What I want to do right now is mass produce, which is just make a lot of chests. With the explicit purpose of making a new storage area. Make things conveniently. And with this alone, I can make 5. 6 even. Which I think seems like a reasonable start. So right now, because our processing is not a perfect point A to point B, it would be improper to treat it like it could just be used. Let's line these up here. We can't do perfect adjacency until we get like iron chests and stuff. Oh, wait, time for the results? No. Failure. How do we solve this? Maybe we should put it in the exact center. Here, perhaps. This, too, is not working. I may need to investigate. Short on stone dust, you get more by macerating cobblestone. If you spawn near a biome with hardened clay, you can macerate it to get the clay dust you need. You can also use brick blocks from villages to get brick dust. Crafting the work table from forestry can make this easier. This doesn't help me with the logistics. Steel production is slow. If you got enough bricks, build it attached. Okay. What about this one? Having 2 BBFs if you can't. This pack might not be food. Note that this will generate massive amounts of pollution. Compressed charcoal. This is not helping. Why is it suggesting I start going for the EBF? Well, I guess it's technically in my range now. Nothing I don't have. Except an assembler and glue. Air filter, wind. Some kind of super smelter, it seems. Interesting. But this isn't what I'm looking for. Maybe the quest line for automation. Iron rod, less pain? Hmm. Okay, okay. I've seen a very awkward shenanigan of a solution that I just looked up. Apparently someone had the crazy idea of like clipping a hopper minecart under here such that the items go out, which is hilarious, by the way. But I think ultimately the problem is that there's only one input and output, and it's this block, and that it's encased on all sides except this. And technically the interior, but nothing's getting through there. I'm pretty sure if I put any block here at all, this whole thing breaks. So that means that we cannot automate both halves of the brick blast furnace. Reasonably. Reasonably being the key word. If we can find a way to get the input and output to be on the same face somehow, then it would work. Whether that's possible, and especially whether that's possible right now, I don't know. I am at the very least satisfied that we've got this part of it working. But this means that the new bottleneck is going to be simply getting the ashes out every once in a while. Oh, 48's in there. We're out of cactus. So in that case, let's make this bigger. Give me like 3 stacks of cobblestone. I'll make the fences later. The layer at which we do this will be that. Contemplating deeply the question of how we get up there. Let's build a staircase like this, I suppose. Except this is going to hang off the edge like that. Really what we want is a staircase like this. Alright. Now let's fill this in. Conveniently, I have sand on me, so this will be even easier. Our area. Time for the perimeter. Up is sand. The simple, easy process of making a farm for cactus. Now we need, well, okay, we're going to need 16 cactus, of course, but we're also going to need 4 buckets of water. I got 1 bucket. I remember having a second bucket, but I may have sacrificed it for a... purpose. A logistics problem. Probably a fluid tank. The water's going to be a little slow. Or am I going to get cactus? I'm already using it all for this. Catch one in the act, maybe? Unlikely. That is a weakness of this system. I will simply have to collect a cactus from nature. And replant them so that I will be able to continue to collect cactus from nature. Running full on charcoal. You are nearly full, so that's good for now. Get the ashes out, put them in here. Maybe there is some sort of dual input-output item transport system that I can eventually invest in. Let's just get the rest of the water from here. It's slightly quicker, but slightly messier. I missed. Good, cactus time. I forgot all the fences. Well, I didn't forget them, but I forgot that I would have to eventually remember to do them. But that's okay. We can do fences. Fences are easy. We can fence. What's the solution to fence? Stick and plank? That's fine. Like, I'm pretty sure I made excess in the past. Though I can't seem to find them. No worries. The solution is simple. Lumber. It's a concerningly low amount of sapling. Concerns alleviated. And there's no real problem to chopping down too much tree and getting too much log. After all, any amount we don't need, we can put into the backlog of this system and simply get more charcoal. Alright, let's get to work. Deploy the saw. Let's say... Let's see what 20 gives us. That should be 2 fence. We need 16. Eight. We need a few more sticks. Enough for this to be 8. That's 8. Put those there. Get the fence and leave. Wait, we don't need 16. We only need 8. I'm a fool. I thought 1 for each cactus, but 1 for pair of cactus. It's actually easier. Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Get the fence. 1, 2. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get rid of the cobblestone roof. Maybe I should fill in the corners. I thought I didn't down there, but it turns out I did. Cactus deletion. Mission accomplished. And with this, our cactus production has increased by 50%. Theoretically, unless I've sabotaged these lower levels somehow. In ways not yet clear to me. By the way, this is fine. Get rid of that murder waypoint from last time. We are. How's this looking? Let's collect any spare cobblestone that we dropped in here. Very good. That's still cooking. That's still cooking, kinda. A little concerned. Ultimately seems fine, though. Though it's possible I overestimated how much cactus we're making. That's okay. It's okay. We still got a good supply. Speaking of supply, we're getting too much charcoal. Let's start smelting some of the processed dust. Start crushing some of the dust. Would you mix chalcopyrite and pyrite? Very good. It is always within our power to simply skip that step of the process. Just simply don't mix. Don't use the mixer. Don't use the separator, sorry. I'd much prefer to keep using it, simply because it's free stuff. But steam is a problem. I'll be honest, I was hoping the mixer would be more immediately useful, but it's got some limitations. Just ever so slightly slower than equilibrium, which worries me. I mean, to some extent, it's logistics. The pipes need to be thicker. But also, I don't think the boiler's keeping up anyway. So this raises the question. Do we expand our steam? It's tempting. And we already know basically what to do. We made that boiler in the past. We can just make like 3 more and make the whole assembly larger. My concern is that would require exorbitantly more fuel, something we can't really provide with only these 2 coke ovens. At least steel's going good. Red alloy wire, red alloy cable. Red alloy. The red alloy is used almost exclusively for the development of more technology, particularly making circuits. Let's go through the electronic circuit line just really quick, see exactly what we need. I'm not looking at that. Basic system is an electronic circuit is made at what we can do right now levels. With 3 red alloy cable, 2 vacuum tubes, a circuit board, steel casing resistor. The resistor requires no red alloy. The circuit board requires no red alloy. The steel casing requires no red alloy. 3 red alloy cables require red alloy. This equates to approximately 1.5 ingots. A vacuum tube requires a red alloy bolt, and we need 2 of them to make 1 circuit. At our current process level, 2 bolts is equal to 1 red alloy rod, and because we don't have a lathe, 1 red alloy rod is equal to 1 ingot. Which means to make 1 electronic circuit, we will need, at minimum right now, 2 red alloy ingots per. It's up to us to use those wisely and decide what we want to make out of that. I feel like right now the most important thing we could probably do is technologies and machines that save us resources that we are already using to make things we want. For instance, if we get a lathe, we will be able to make red alloy bolts using only half the materials. It would decrease our red alloy consumption from 4 ingots per electronic circuit to 3.5. Not that good, not that much of an improvement, but it is an improvement. As far as red alloy in general, the cost of making one is 1 copper, which is negligible given our volume of copper supply, and 4 redstone. The redstone is the problem. I don't know a better way. How much redstone do we have? This is kind of an important question. We have about 2 stacks, I would say. I don't actually want Cinnabar. Two stacks of redstone. That would equate to about 32 red alloy that we can make. With 32 red alloy at a cost of about 4 red alloy per circuit, that's about 8 electronic circuits, which is not really a lot. I did the initial math wrong. The cables are half an ingot each. So it would be 1.5 red alloy for the cables. And then 1 for the bolt. Which means that if we get the lathe, it's only 2 per bolt. And that's good. The lathe is here. It requires basic components, which we basically already understand. Motors, we've made motors. Small steel gear, that's just something we can build. But it will make ingots to plate 1-to-1, finally. The ultimate form of plate materialization. And that's going to be good for just raw bulk production. Bending machine over here, 2 motor, 2 piston. But basically the same assembly. I think we want this. I think we want to do the bending lathe line. Another possibility is better rubber. And that only requires 1 motor, another tin rotor, and that'll make the chemical reactor. The chemical reactor in particular will let us do where exactly does the extruder, centrifuge, alloy smelter molding, alloy smelter recycling. No. It's the pile of rubber. It's the pulp, the rubber pulp. I think. Centrifuge lathe macerator. Maybe it's the rubber fluid solidifier. Molten rubber chemical reactor. Here we are. Raw rubber dust. Chemical reactor makes rubber at a much greater efficiency. And rubber is something we need a lot of. But then we need to do a, well, either assembler to just coat it or solidify it with a mold. Fluid solidifier is just 2 pumps in a chest. That's also within range of our power. I think we have enough reasons. I think we have plenty of justification to just go out there and do some awesome. So let's do some awesome. Let's start with the bending machine because I'm interested in the lathe. But also just material efficiency in the plate department, I think will compound later. It's just a lot of steel. It's also the motor, but we can make the motor quite easily. Especially now. So let's just take a whole bunch of material we own and just start vaguely processing it towards the result we want. I'm quickly making a file because the one here is about to break. Cool. I think that'll give us 9 motors worth of iron rod. We can just polarize. All right, an idea, a plan, a strategy is starting to form. Iron rods, what else do we need? tin cable. I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna do a little not cheat. Just basic. I don't have enough. Well, I have enough for tin. Normally, I buy tin and red alloy at the same time. But if we want to just get tin real quick, that's free tin. Saves on rubber. Which is really the point. Alright, polarizer is done. Let's get our magnetic rods in here, our non-magnetic rods in here. We have the tin cable we need. We simply need next the copper wire, which I've already made a good amount of. Put that in there, put that in there, hit the motor button. We made 8 motor, limited only by the fact that we ran out of tin cable immediately. That's fine. Next up is the steel. And what do we need for the piston? Well, we'll need more tin cable. That's unavoidable. Small gear, rod, plate. So that is going to be 3, 5, like 10 steel. Approximating based on what we need and what we already have. Step 1 is get these in here. Need 2 crafts of that. I will need 4 rods. Wire cutter. Need the wire cutter. Little uncomfortable with using the wire cutter. Durability is very low. Making a new wire cutter is... okay, it's not that bad. Plate, rod, screw, with screwdriver, hammer, and file. It's just sort of involved. That's the small gear. Go back over here, get the plate, come back over here, get the piston recipe engaged. Motor is absent. Motor is no longer absent. We need the tin cable. Do we have any spare? No. That's fine. We can make tin cable. All we need is tin and cable. I'll make a few tin wire just to have on standby whenever. Machine set to 1, putting the tin, making the tin. Oh, that's more than enough. Another step of the process we need is use the alloy smelter to melt the rubber into a sheet. Put out some creosote, fill up the steam. Simple matter of putting that onto this. Back in here, put that in, take this out. That is the quest. In particular reward we want from this 2 regular pistons. I mean, I'm not particularly interested in combat right now. I don't really need it. Plus, that costs metal. Okay, piston complete. We can now move on to maybe making the motor. We could also go straight to the chemical plant because I'm starting to realize just how much rubber we're going to need. And that requires the fluid solidifier as like another step on that process. But even if we do make molten rubber, the only way we can like put it onto the, well, we can fluid solidify it, but that's another machine. This is a complicated pile of everything we got to do. As is standard. Ooh, the combustion generator. That's creosote. What if we just fuel the factory on creosote completely? Two pistons, two motors, two steel gears. Like, that's in range. We can do that. But I think priority right now is going to be, first off, smelt some dang stuff. Priority, I think, is to get the bending machine and lathe, because that's saving resources. Thanks to our responsible work earlier, rubber is available. We simply need to alloy smelt it together. And actually, if the alloy smelter isn't doing anything right now, it may as well be making more rubber. This is not the most efficient craft of rubber, but that's okay. We're farming rubber, and we have plenty of sulfur. And we have one piston. But soon we will have two. And right now, this is just a matter of steel. Get like 10 more steel from the chest. Put them in here. We need to file this. We need 4 rods like before. File down. The rest of the steel gets converted into 6 plate, which is more than enough, but we don't have an even split on what we need. This will be our second piston, and then we will have everything we need to make the bending machine. Will help get us more plate more faster, more cheaply. We won't have to keep using the forge hammer for it, and the forge hammer can then step back and basically be used exclusively for construction of, well, like crushing down ores. This piston, cable, there's the motor, there's the product. We now have 2 pistons. Now we need to bulk produce the circuits to the best of our ability right now. We have 10 red alloy cables, so right now the only thing we need from red alloy right now are the bolts. Three, 6, 9. That was calculated out such that we are not making more bolts than we can use with the cable we own so far. Oh, it's dark out for some reason. Why does that keep happening? 6, we have our bolts. Here's our glass tubes. The exact recipe is fine copper wire and copper wire. We should still have half a stack over here from when we made the motor. Yes. That in there, put that in here. That recipe in. We need I'm arguing with myself how many I want to make. We can make 10. We can make 10. We can make 10. We can make 6. 12. 12 steel. Back over here. How's this running? Still running good. Big relief to see. Oh, this is empty. What about you? I guess the way this is functioning, it wouldn't really ever have a backlog unless the actual blast furnace itself is backed up. Well, filings. Truly, I am starting to see the appeal of the lathe more and more as we burn through our valuable resources trying to make this happen. That is 6. Put these away. We have 6 vacuum tubes. That's enough for 3. Electronic circuits. Get the slime. Also, quit ignoring the problem self. Please eat. 50%, 50%. These are not good. Our nutrition is completely ruined. We need to eat more cucumber slices. Okay, put that away. Get some tomato slices. How's that looking? 75%? That's fine. We'll eat the small veggie sandwiches. Okay, that's looking pretty bad. Now, what does that mean for the pie? 75%? 100%. Excellent. And just like that, we're back. We got the slime. Pour that in. Good. Keep that filled. We are going to need circuit board. That's also used with the slime. So let's start with the resistors. Going for green slime today. Looking for charcoal dust. There we are. We can make 26. We can make 20. We can make 7. We can make 7. 7 is enough to match the 6 here, so that's good. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need the circuit boards now. We can make 6. We can make 15. But now these need the copper cable, and we are out of copper cable. Well, copper wire. The one that doesn't have rubber on it. The specific identity, I do not remember. Fortunately. That's easy. So 4 ingots will make us a proper circuit board. That'll be ready to go. With 24, we shall be able to make the 3 circuits allowed to us by our red alloy supply. Because it's 8 each, I believe. Yes. Interesting, though. There's a way to make it with copper foil, wood plank, and glue directly. Polyethylene makes it even better. But the limiting factor is perpetually the foil supply. 32 copper foil makes... Alright, so the multiplier here is actually very important. Polyethylene, when we get polyethylene, we are going to be in good business. Very good business. Okay, let's just fill up on what we can right now. We can make 4. That's a 3-1 for later. Finally, we have everything we need. We can make 3. We can make... I forgot the steel casing, which is made... by just using a hammer on a steel plate. We need 2 more, which needs 3 steel in this. Step away from the steam. No hammer here, go inside to the other crafting table because I don't want to mess up that one. Go here. Go here. That's 2. Three. 3. 3. 3. That's pretty good. Now, what we will need remaining for the bending machine is sufficient steel plate for the hull. Steel supply is being burnt through very quickly doing this. 6, and then... 8. Need a little more for the external side. We'll also need No, just the one. Just the one. If there's any time to be careful with how many we're making, it's now. Because we're about to make it even cheaper. That'll be 8. That'll be that. We need wrought iron for the hull and more tin cable. So let's start with this. Wrench it. We've got the casing. Next is the hull, which requires very specifically 2 tin cable, 2 wrought iron plate. The tin cable quest is updated. We could technically buy more. I don't care to, though. After all, we've got all the tin cable we need for exactly this moment right now. Wrought iron is just a matter of inconvenient. Yeah, we just need to make more. Do the classic 7 system. In fact, let's do it twice. Just to future-proof. There's saw in there? No, let's go inside. 7 ingots approximates to 1 full stack. Where the heck is my saw? Did I bring it outside? I guess I did. Weird how I went from 2 saws to no saw. Yep, there it is. Ingots. Ingot. Where'd the other 7 go? I thought I picked up 14. Where did the other 7 go? Up there, put that in there. There's the other saw. There's the other 7, I guess. My inventory is indeed very bad. I would say I'm working on it, but I'm not actually working on it. That'd be lying. Okay, wrought iron goes in there. Then we can get the wrought iron nuggets and turn it into ingots, and then turn the ingots into plate, and then turn the plate into the hull we wanted this whole time. Let's just prepare the craft while we wait. Plate there, cable there, casing there. Waiting on that wrought iron. 7, 11, 14. That's enough to compress 2 ingots. One more and we'll have our 2 plate, and then our 2 plate will make us our hull, and then our hull can be converted finally into its ultimate form, the bending machine. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. One more. Oh, there's the fence. Hopefully I remember that for next time. There's 9. Compressma. And then let's look at the bending machine details. We need another tin cable. And a wrench. And wait, no, we have motors. We have motors. That's not a problem. We have motors. There's no problem here. We have motors. Here they are. Just need one tin cable. And I have one rubber sheet to make one tin cable. All I need is the tin wire. There's the tin wire. That's a tin wire. And now it's not. Compressor sounds like it's finished its job. Excellent. Take that out of there. Put that in here. It's time. 1, 2. Boom. Bend, bend. 2 piston. 2 motor. Cable. The bending machine. Excellent. Would appreciate if I didn't have to waste another use of the wire cutter to get that wire to connect. Brought the wire cutter over to the workbench because I was making a small gear. Good. Good. Cool. Now we can bend stuff. So good to see. Now where we used to need 12 steel, we now only need 8. That's 4 steel saved. In retrospect, maybe I should have built the bending machine before I started making the bronze-plated brick machine. And the lathe. That would have saved me so much bronze. I'm starting to feel some pangs of regret to my past actions. But can you blame me? All right. Let's take some more. Oh no, we already have a half stack copper wire in there. Splendid. So what's stopping us from making another electronic circuit? The answer is red alloy cable. But we still have one electronic circuit remaining. Can we make something with only one? Most of these by standard cause use 2. Electrolyzer, yeah, that uses 2. Lathe uses 2. Mixer uses 2. Electric furnace uses 2. Alloy smelter uses 2. But an alloy smelter powered by electricity might save us a lot of headaches. Annealed copper. Okay, also regular copper works. That's fine. Transfer pipes? Transfer... No, is it automation time? What the heck, Ender Pearls? You think I got access to that kind of nonsense? Basic rock breaker. Okay. No circuit. Sifting machine requires 2. Compressor requires 2. Forge hammer requires 2. Forming press requires 2. The creosote boy requires 1. Ooh, but that is a steep cost of steel. Oh, you can be like, hey, you got the Steam multi-block, let's check this off. Well, I do indeed have that, so... mission accomplished there, I guess. Blue. We could also go all the way to an assembly machine. An assembly machine is going to be important. It will make things a lot easier. I'm starting to flail with all of the possibilities. I knew this would happen, but it is indeed still happening. Okay, if we want to make those into baby coins. I wonder if that's like a cheap and easy way to not cheat your way through to get more stuff. Let's get some coin and free exotic foods. Use those coins to get more red alloy cable, which will free us up to use what red alloy ingots we have already for more bolt. But I'm in it to make exactly one more circuit so that we can make the lathe, such that these can be used more resource effectively, saving us additional headache in the future. But let's go to the red alloy cable quest, get the purchase done. With this, we can go here and feel slightly better about our choices. Get a saw ready, saw that. We got 2 bolts. We're going to need 4 steel. How much you got here? 3. Not enough cactus. Also, I'm under attack. Let me just get out my sword while I'm stuck in this web. Murder them. Get a free hat. That lets me breathe in the water. Free string as well. I could have kept that guy around to get free string. Not that I don't need free string, or can't get free string anyway. I got an entire farm for free string. What's the rubber? 21 rubber. Let's turn that into 10 plate. 10 sheet. To coat our cable, long as we're able. Excellent. I'm gonna need more tin. Let's just convert all of our outlying tin into tin wire. And then start going through processing all of our cassiterite. Just put a stack in here and just hope it goes well. So long as nothing is happening currently. The extra tin we get out of it is actually quite useful, and I do want to make sure that we keep it around. Sheet into the tin cable. The extra wires in here. We've got the motors. We simply need the... And we made our decision. We are going with the lathe. One motor, one piston, 3 cable. Need a new circuit. What are we missing for the new circuit? We got the board, resistor. We need the steel. Oh, hey, or cactus. You just got a nice little bolt collection there. That's good. I'm hearing more pop off. This is going to basically be the end of our steel supply once I do this, which is tragic, but necessary. 4. For the rods. Okay, 2 for the rods. Get me another file. At the very least, the lathe will solve this problem. Moving on. Use for vacuum tube. We can make 2. 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 More resistor. We just need one more resistor, and I'm pretty sure we've already gotten what we need for it. Did I get that backwards? I did. Okay. Vacuum tube, check. Resistor, check. Circuit board, check. Red alloy cable, check. All we need is the bent steel. We need the steel casing. How do we make a steel casing? Extruder would be good. Alloy smelter molding would be 2 into 3. That's probably the best steel we can get right now. Fair trade. Fair trade. Fell down here. Good. Electronic circuit, if you please. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a circuit. We now have 2 circuits. We now need the extra piston. That is simply more iron. Manipulated in ways that are awkward and inconvenient, but possible. Do we have steel in here? Just any extra steel at all? We do. We can't use the alloy smelter to forge a gear out of steel. We can do it with softer metals, but not steel, so this will not help us. We only have the standard method. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's how much plate we need. Bending machine. Go forth. Wait, I should actually figure out if I know how to use this correctly. Okay, bending machine on any ingot, please. Go for steel plate. Go to the bending machine recipe. It is set to 1. So, 8 for the hull. Well, 8 for the casing. 1 for the hull. 1 for the small gear. 3 for the piston. We need 1 more steel for the rods. Fortunately, steel just finished up. We now have a 4th one. We can simply file this as needed, and it is needed. But this will be the last. Small gear. Bestow upon you the materials necessary for this to happen. Piston. Motor and 210. Motor and 210. Motor, 210. Oi, oi, oi. 210. Motor, get. While we're here, we may as well make the hull. Scratch that, I don't have the wrench. How are the nuggets going? We are going to need the wrought iron for the hull. So compress more. Then go to the bending machine. Bend 2. That's the hull ready. We're making this work. We'll have our bending machine. We'll have our lathe. We'll have saved resources by spending way too many of them. The plate. Oh, I already took the wrought iron. There we go. That's the hull. Lathe. We need a diamond. We need a diamond. Do we have a diamond? Do we have diamond ore? No diamond. No diamond. We have crushed diamond ore and nothing else. We have a diamond ore vein. And I'm pretty sure we didn't have a massive hammer last time we went there, so this should be easy. Technically speaking, with more diamond and some more circuit that we can make eventually, we can start going to the Twilight Forest and get other major ingredient resources like lead. Make some batteries. All right, here we are. Start digging. Splendid. Well, smelt that. It's a diamond. That's 4 diamonds. That's plenty for what we need right now, and I don't have any torches, so I will simply leave with 4 diamonds. That's 1 diamond for the lathe, 1 for the Twilight Forest, 2 more for who knows what. I'm starting to believe that the cactus system is not really working for us. So I'm temporarily going to substitute just a whole stack of charcoal. It's slower, but I mean, it's faster if we can't supply the cactus to it. That's just kind of how the math works, unfortunately. So, diamond. I would like to purchase 1 diamond from the diamond store, please. Thank you. There is our lathe. That lathe is going to save us so much on rods. Lack of anywhere else to put it. Let's just put it there. What's a simple recipe we can test to make sure that this is actually plugged in? Ooh, an unexpected benefit. Our bolts can now be efficiently converted into screws at a rate of 1-to-1. This means that when 1 ingot used to be able to make 1 screw, it is now the case that 1 ingot can make, in terms of material conversion, not necessarily exactly 1 ingot, but 1 ingot can now make 4 screws. So that's good. There's a catch to using the lathe, in that the lathe does not produce 2 rods. It produces 1 rod and some dust, which you will then need to combine back together to make a new ingot for the other rod. So you're perpetually going to have a little pile of excess material. That is the lathe's output. But on the whole, it's beneficial. You just got to find a way to sort of recycle it back into the system. The easiest way is probably well, first off, combine the dust back into a regular dust, and then heat it in a furnace back into an ingot. Just cycle it over and over again. But this does mean that optimal operation requires you to use 2 ingots and make 2 rods, such that the recycle will be perfect ratio to make your replacement ingot. Cactus is going. It's not going. This is a little awkward. I might just disable the hopper for now. Let it fill up in here for the future. It's not that bad if we have to just convert back and forth every once in a while. In fact, we can do something like this. Put the charcoal in here. We might need to wrench that. There we go. Great. So ultimately, we've gotten our first step in the door of low voltage. And we've run into the immediate problem that we don't have enough steel. Inconvenient as it may be, I do think we're going to be making some more brick blast furnaces. So let's just check over here. This is the wrong tab. We want multi-block goals. That's still the wrong one. Self multi-block goals. We're going to need more. Which means we're going to need more brick blast furnace, which is just iron furnaces. So the big thing is we just need to produce a bunch of fire brick. 24 per. Fire brick is simply... Well, let's just evaluate all our options here. Fire brick is compressed fire clay. Fire clay is fire clay dust. I forgot how inconvenient this was. Wow, okay. So fire brick is the result. There is no shortcut available. Go to fire brick. No shortcut available. Go to compressed fire clay. No shortcut available. Go to fire clay dust. Fire clay dust can be made by macerating stuff we've already built. And by one recipe. Mixing clay dust and brick dust. Clay dust is simple. It's the classic. Just macerate some clay. Brick dust is macerated brick. You can get it sometimes out of coke oven brick. That's a weird way to go about it, but you can do it. Forge hammering brick. A brick is smelted on fire clay brick, alloy smelted clay, and mold. That's probably the simplest. Extracting it from an entire brick, which just is a roundabout circular way. The brick, we would have to heat a Hun-fired or alloy smelt. Alloy smelting is probably the more direct path because we don't have to go smelt then. Or we don't have to form this shape and then smelt. It's just smelt. Granted, if you recall brick dust as the goal, macerating macerator recycling an entire brick thing, such as, for instance, brick, gets us there immediately. So we can make yet another argument for dismantling our house. I don't really want to dismantle our house. I'll just make the brick. It's fine. Where's the alloy smelter? There we go. Oh, wait, that's plate. Get the brick mold. There. Well, we got 6 combined with the 9. That's pretty good. But no, what? How is that? Why? How is that working like that? Why is that the way that works? Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Why is that how that works? That is outrageous. It also means we were not making steel that whole time. Man. Well, we got more wrought iron. Good to have. Basic supply for basic designers. Spare nuggets can go in there, I guess. They kind of need to combine as we make them. Well, I figure we are just stuck processing things, just making more material. We might have to step back into steel sensibilities. Hmm? You can convert steam into water to convert into steam. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, back to steam. What more can we do? Well, for select things, we can make high pressure variants of machines we already have. I'm pretty sure we already have a high pressure. No, we don't. That's a regular alloy smelter. If we're going to be smelting a lot more alloys, we could maybe hold off until we make an electric one. It just seems a bit simpler because it's probably faster and cheaper in steam production. But we could just upgrade now. Coal boiler. Unnecessary. We're already running good on steam for what we're doing. The pile igniter exists. There we are. I worry that this will just completely overload any production of steam we have right now. Maybe we make a revamped steam production. At the very least, maybe make a bigger tank. Bigger boil. Yeah, let's just... Not that one. Wrong button. Yeah, let's... Maybe we diversify. Instead of maybe more liquid fuel, we maybe make a railcraft steam power. We're going to need high pressure boiler tank anyway. Is there a diagram on how exactly these can be formed? More than one size is possible, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, and 3 by 3. Okay, you need to make these square. All right, maybe instead of doing that, we simply make a completely separate railcraft boiler. That's a low pressure variant, provides a bit more steam incidentally as needed. It could be high pressure as well. Depends on if we've got a good charcoal supply, which I definitely think we do. More creosote, more coke ovens. We just completely go absurd with production of creosote. We've got the lumber for it. No way to automate it easily unless we make an absurd cactus farm. But lumber we can do. So, what say we just make another? Firebox casings, just a lot of bronze framed stuff. Steel bar, steel plate, a cauldron, which is just iron plate. This is actually quite cheap. Yeah, let's make a second steam boiler. Let's also make more coke oven everything. Well, I can unconvert this easily enough. Excavator to the rescue. Easy. Okay, enough making brick. We've got a new assignment. Made a good amount of brick in that time. That'll be useful for when we make another blast furnace later. I should also remember it's not as bad as the first time. In fact, this might be reflected in the quest. Yeah, this one required 36 fire brick. But this next one would only require 24-ish. As a consequence of it sharing a wall. Oh, hey, we got 5 brick in here. We can macerate down for dust quickly. Wait, my past self, I think, was using this for bricked bronze casing. Which, if we ever build another one of the Steam multi-blocks, we'll need. My focus is a little split, but coke ovens are running. We want to make a cauldron. We want steel bars and steel plate. Steel bars is just steel bars. I should have one left from before. Here I would have only used 2 of them. Steel. There it is. But we will need more. Once again, fortunately, the lathe exists. Food supplies are real. How you doing? 1. Oh, good for us. I'm going to extract the ingot from the smeltery. Simply to have it. Iron bending complete. Let's make a cauldron. Is it hammer or is it wrench? We'll try hammer. It was hammer. We have a cauldron. Put the 2 steel in the lathe to get 2 rods, and it will give us 1 ingot back. Oh yeah, this is a struggle. Bars. Then it's this steel, the one we just got. That'll get us to 4. We have 2 of the rods. We have 4 of the dust. We can put the dust in here to get 1 ingot back. Then when those pair are done, we'll get 2 ingots back, which we can then put into here to get the 6 rods and 1 ingot remaining. Hey. This ain't easy anymore. Thought we were good on the materials we had, but no. We're out. Wait. I have motors. I can make motors. Motors don't require steel. They require iron. Conveyor module doesn't need steel either. And conveyor module is how we do logistics stuff. Liquid logistics is done with the electric pump. And the electric pump also doesn't require steel. Which means, even if we have no steel, we can still start setting up some logistics. Get all of the coke ovens producing creosote. Bundle it all into some central tank, which may or may not require steel. Hopefully not, at least. Process. Then distribute from that tank to the boilers. Or at least the one for now. And then keep going. It's going to be expensive per unit because it's still like rubber and all the other stuff. But it's enough. Okay, got these 8. Put these 8 in the smeltery. They are not smelting. Make them into steel dust. Now will you smelt? Yes. It's gonna be a while. I mean, it's all gonna be a while. But I think I finally understand. Coke oven, mass creosote, mass boiler, mass steam. It's what we need. Because we can reach level 1. We can reach low voltage. But we can't stay there. We can't build machines without steel, and we need the steel. I can barely make the steel bars required for this, let alone the plate. Trying to make an entire second railcraft thing. What if... What if I'm doing this wrong? Oh. Oh. I think I am doing this wrong. I can just use charcoal. if I'm making creosote, I can make charcoal. And if I do that, I can do that. And if I do that, low pressure boiler tank is iron, which is free. It's less efficient, but it's free. High pressure requires steel screw, 4 ingots. Okay, okay, okay. New plan. New plan. Forget this. Forget the steel use. We're reverting this. We're going back to the full steel. We'll take our full steel supply and we'll use it to make another high pressure boiler casing. But the actual boiler will be powered by charcoal. We don't need a second creosote. We have the charcoal from this process anyway. And that'll give enough steam. Okay. Still from that, just still from that. The lathe. Oh no. It was always just these 4. So extract these 4. Do we have a 5th? It's been a few minutes. Yes, you do. Great. In that case, I guess I went a bit far. We do need to lathe 1 steel into a rod to make the screws efficiently. So I guess I'll just do that again. As for these would go into the alloy smelter. The alloy smelter is a little busy right now. With any spare coke oven brick that I may have already constructed into a final form. I do have some spare coke oven brick somehow. Some 3 in there. Take these out. Go over here. Put them in the compressor. Okay, the logistics of this are going to need some refactoring, but I'm fine with that. Separate to this, what's the biggest tank I can make? Like for storing liquids. Well, I can always make those tower tanks with the glass. But as I think about it, I already have one. Okay. I think I see the vision. Okay, here's how this is going to work. We have some central lumber chest that holds 1 million logs. The logs are then distributed to some number of coke ovens. The coke ovens will take the logs, consume the logs, create charcoal and some creosote. The charcoal will be extracted out and funneled to a chest that holds all the charcoal. The Creosote will be extracted out to a tank that holds some creosote buffer. And those are really just there to sort of catalog our backlog of those materials, just to see how much spare we have. Then, those will directly go from there into a railcraft boiler, depending on its particular material, which will then produce steam. And that steam will be centralized to somewhere and then distributed as power to machines as needed. We'll have like maybe a smaller line for just the machines that don't take a lot. We'll have like a dedicated bigger lines that go to the multi-blocks, especially the mixer. That thing is hungry for steam. Alloy smelters on that list. Blast furnace or forge hammer is, I think it can hold its own. It's a little involved, but we have all the materials I think we need. But step one is let's make that solid fuel boiler firebox. We have the cauldron. Iron furnace is just a furnace plus iron plate. So 7, 11. We already made that. 11 iron. It feels so simple when you put it like that. Just, hey, we need 11 iron. Fantastic. Here we go. There's our 11 iron being made right before our very eyes. Okay, so we can make plate, we can make double pack plate for some things, we can make foil. For reference, circuit machine set to 1 makes iron foil. With plate. With ingot, set to 10 makes foil. Okay. Oh, there's our 11 plate. Just take a furnace from in here. Okay, wrench, plate, there's our iron furnace. Very good. Next step is going to be the... Well, it's the firebox. So 4 plate, 4 rod, 12 rod. Unless we already have one. I'm not seeing a bear. The 4 plate, 12 rod. You may think, oh no, this is a major disaster. We're gonna use 12 ingot, but no, we're gonna get 6 ingot back. We have a rod. We find a saw. saw it, into bolts. Now these bolts can be lathed directly to screws. Unfortunately, the machine's a little busy right now. Let's just put those in there for safekeeping. One detriment to this process is that it's slower than just filing it, but the material efficiency is so worth it. In that case, let's think about the high pressure boiler tank. That is alloy smelter 4 steel ingots, of which we have all that we need. Hmm? Oh. Oh. Hold steady. Looking like it's holding steady now. Maybe it was just the alloy smelter causing strife. Maybe I should have used a thicker pipe. Lot of theories about what I could have done better. Well, it's stable now. That's 8. Let's make a casing. Well, frame. So with that frame, combined with this 4 plate and 4 more rods yet to be acquired, we shall have our completed firebox. And that's like the primary ingredient we're missing to make the full boiler. What if I could just fuel the boiler with logs directly? Probably inefficient. Probably unnecessary. But I can technically do it, and I can technically get away with it. So that would be the high pressure tank. And you're freaking out over Steam again. Is there some sort of phantom limit to how much steam can be removed from the boiler tank? Because if so, that's weird. Well, at least it's done. Stick. That means the lathe can now process the bolts. Inventory is a little bit of a mess. Bronze dust can simply be smelted. We have a stack of copper. I can put the stack of copper in the stack of copper device. More coke oven brick can be compressed. We have enough for an entire second coke oven. Not second, but like we can build a new coke oven now. Screws are done. Let's make this tank. I assume it's a wrench. Not wrench. Screwdriver, perhaps. Nope. Hammer. There we go. So that is this. Get that recipe in there. We need the rods. We have the rods. And finally, there is our new boiler. Now we're going to have to start dismantling things to sort of prepare the area. Provided we continue with this vague arrangement. Yeah, this is going to be some work. Let's clear the inventory of things. Place them where appropriate. Dust, dust, dust. I'm in a special case. Need the room. Okay, so water goes into the firebox. No. Water goes from the tank siding to the tank part. So the way I see it, one side of the entire tank should be dedicated to inputs. Water input here, fuel input here. We need a new wrench soon. Oops. I may have avoided some brick, that's fine. That's a double oopser. Let it dry out, let's get some pipe. An item pipe. We're out of tin. Truly? I guess I turned it all into wire. Well, at least the boiler will keep functioning for a while. And I do want it to empty out so I can move it. But for the sake of simplicity, my plan is to just sort of move this here, and then have the coal one here. The water will go in directly. No, wait, that's not enough clearance unless I take out this wall. Okay, in that case, they'll go... I may have to move the siding tank itself. And if I do that, I have a lot more options to what makes sense. Oh, that could have been a big problem. Okay. So it's relatively difficult to move these machines here. They're pretty large. What if we move the siding tank to this side here or so? Put the boilers here. Water inputs direct. Fuel inputs sort of like angled in. Okay, so I'll get the dolly and move that. Wait, this biome does not have precipitation. This is a terrible idea. Maybe I just let it pump over. Okay, that's fine. In that case, let's go coal boiler here. Chest for its excess. If I want the water to come in from here, it would go. We would weave it together by having this chest not here. Let's get the dolly now. I'm beginning to see it. I'm beginning to understand. This is not a major feat of industrialization. This is simply a major feat of design. I'm making this not terrible. And I'm happy about that. Okay, that was moved there. Yeah, keep that there for now. Sure. Spare steam machines can go in here, just so I have more room. Open that up, break that down. Be ill-advised to go too far with this before having the logistic solution. We're going to need a good deal of item pipe for this. But maybe we can get away with small ones. Even tiny ones. Tiny tin item pipe. Item capacity is 1 stack per 8 seconds. For the logs and for the charcoal, I imagine, that's fine. This is not going to be a high throughput construction. Let's just make 2 constructions of tiny tin item pipe. All we're missing is the tin. French. There we go. Okay. Let's start with the fluid pipe. This is our water line. It goes in there. I would continue the water line right now to its next desired location. Unfortunately, I appear to have ran into a shortage of wrench. There we go. There. This provides the water. Am I wrong? Water go in there? It does go in there. I thought... Well, there goes like 5% of my plan. Oh, don't tell me the steam boiler is going to have, like, ash byproduct. That's a little inconvenient. From here, though... Got that. Hey, Thega. I'm trying to route some steam logistics here. A little technical. Oh, I got bamboozled by optical illusion. Ah, frick, I forgot tin requires steel wrench to break. Well, that's just stuck there now. Ah, it's working. Splendid, 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 absolutely splendid. Okay, next. Just the little bit more scary part. This is the part where we need the pump. So we need 4 rubber sheet. And we're going to need 2 pumps for this, at least for this. What do we have in that department? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Wait. We might still have something in the circuit department. No. Okay. Rubber ring. We have the tin cable we need. So it's just some rubber, tin rotor, bronze fluid pipe, tin screw. We can do all of that. Tin rotor is also a tin screw. It's also a tin ring. Okay. Make that plate. Make these rods. One rod will make 2 screws. The other rod will make the ring. Oh, darn it. It turns out that a lathe is actually pretty demanding in terms of the energy required. Also, I just realized this isn't enough. We need 2. It's not looking good. Hammer and file. Hammer and file. Hammer. Gotta be a file somewhere. Nope. No file. Need more file. It's a little bit of a mess. Okay, we got the hammer, got the file, need the tin rod. We got those. Make 2 rings. The fan requires the screws, of which I need to lathe into shape. Did that. Now what? Screwdriver. Okay, rotor's complete. Next is we need 2 more screws ready. Which means another tin ingot in here. This is a little bit of a mess. We're going to need the rubber, so let's prepare the rubber. To prepare the rubber, we need the alloy smelter back online. I'm holding the alloy smelter. Go back online. Rubber muck. All the pieces are forming a solution. Wrench ready. Screwdriver ready. Bronze fluid pipe. I'm sure there's one. But I'll need the wrench to get it. Okay. Probably in here, where I put none of the excess, apparently. I guess standard fluid pipe's a bit hard to come by. I mean, that's enough rubber for the 2 sheets we need. No, we need 4 sheets. My mistake. You know what? I'm going to need the bronze anyway. I'm going to need more pipe anyway. Let's just make another bronze fluid pipe manually. Oh, there's like 3 right here. Never mind. Well, we'll need to make something out of bronze plate later, so this is not a loss. It's just a commitment, you see. So that's fine. We got 8 rubber. We can turn that into 4 sheets. We can then take a knife to those and make the required rings. All of it together. Do that. Do that. Knife is located. There's one in the kitchen. I think there might also be one in this bench just as a usable tool. Doesn't look like it. Do I have a knife? No. Knife. There's our rubber rings. Go here. Go here. What's missing? The cable. Check. Put the wrench in. Check. Put the motors in. Check. That is pumped. Look at it. Pump reel. Let's eat a food to celebrate. A nice hearty pie, perhaps? Very good. Now we can start doing some industrialized nonsense. I'm going to need a third. Well, no. I'll just not have the buffer yet. Unless I can use these pumps to pull. Curious to see if that works. All right, moment of truth. That there. Now, just to confirm, sanity check. Has that secretly worked this whole time and I'm just a fool? I was just flat out wrong. Wow. Okay, yeah, that's water. Resoat, therefore. That'll be you. Come from this. Pretty tight in here. Okay, test. Import. Does it pull? Does it pull? Not looking good. Yep, okay, that don't work. Let's just take a crowbar to it and try again. This means that this tank cannot be used right now. It will not help. That's okay. Simply put it. Backside over there. We put it. The top side here. Quick nap. Make sure this is all forming together. Import. There's the creosote going. Import. There's creosote. And now this means that we simply export however we choose. And go from there. Hard to tell at this juncture, but I think we are fuel positive. And although it's not ideal, this system is self-balancing. If we get too much creosote and the thing backs up, the coal boiler will stop until the creosote gets used and the coal starts being made again. There's probably an optimal ratio considering these are going to be consuming constantly. And it would appear that the siding tank, though it's slow to, is water positive. We're gaining water before we reduce it. So I guess this like major drop-off was because of just filling these tanks initially. So that's fine. Okay, boilers have been reinvented. Let's reattach them to the network. Ooh, technically, these are going to be greater distances. Oh, inventory. And that's inconvenient. Unless I move the machines. And even though don't need much for general production, I'm willing to move the low tier just machine box collection over there. starting, of course, with the steam turbine. The wire cutters are probably destroyed at this point. Nope, we got one use on them left. Let's make the best of it. Okay, let's say polarizer here. Vending machine here. Lathe here. Wait, is that all the machines I have? Vending machine, lathe, polarizer. Ah, wire mill. Yes. Which side does this thing take steam in? If I do that, will that just work? Oh yeah, it does. Cool. Gonna need more bronze pipe. I guess this is where those plates I made earlier come into use. See, it was very important that we made those. Is our hammer dead? I think our hammer's dead. We're gonna need a new hammer. For all of my original confidence about how much iron we had, we're kind of running out. We're down to a stack. Now I'm sure we can multiply up to many stacks of iron by processing through all of the pyrite we have. But it's still unnerving that it has decreased so. The wrench. The wrench. Get the wrench. I don't want to use this side. I want to use this side for maximum cost effectiveness, spatial effectiveness in the future. It goes that way, it goes that way, it goes this way, it goes this way. We are clear. Okay. We're closing in on what we could do before. Compressor, extractor, forge hammer. And then the alloy smelter is somewhere. Compressor. Extractor. Forge hammer. Here's the alloy smelter. Alloy smelter. Alright. We can find a better place for those later. Possibly a pipe off of this one, who knows. But outside of that, everything's going quite good. Cactus Coke is backed up. Cactus, not so much yet. Generally, the process is proceeding. We've gotten more steel. Almost enough steel that we could make a new low voltage machine. Today was not that big of like a material shift, in the sense that we didn't really extract much from the ground or convert it into anything else. We mostly just took the time to put together some of the important low voltage machines that we shall be using extensively to save on cost. And then did a little bit to help restore some sanity to our steam production. What we would really want is to make a massive tank with steam that these would just pump into, and all steam would like channel out of from there. If we want to do that, we're going to need a lot of bronze. But I think we have what we need to make a lot of bronze. Extra pyrite definitely won't hurt. I'm going to do something completely wild. I'm going to end the stream vaguely on time. For Greg Tech, this is unprecedented. Usually we go way too long, and it's an absolute disaster. But no, I think we're clear to go. We've refactored our steam. Made some good tech upgrades, and just generally made stuff work. So I'm gonna go. We're almost at exactly 4 hours. This is perfect. Let's let this finish so we don't have the clanging beat. Maybe put it in the mixer. And with it in the mixer, I'll call it. Now in the mixer, what does it give us? It gives us free sulfur. Interesting. Chalcopyrite gives us pyrite, but pyrite gives us sulfur. Interesting. Mix it. Alright. So with that, I'm going to stand over here where we can't hear it so it can just do its job. All's good. We're going to need to take more intermediate days to sort, organize, and maybe assemble things to just make this a lot less of a complete mess. When we do that, everything should flow easier from there. But a process for another time. I'm Exception. This is InTV. Have a good day and good night.